cross, which I just noticed it. When you go too fast, what'll happen? No, you're fine. So, but just when you do it in game, you can go slower than what you need to.
What about the ball? When I'm following the ball?
I wouldn't follow. Don't worry as much about following the ball. Follow the play. So if they throw it downfield, just don't worry about catching the ball. Catch where they're going to catch it.
But I like following the ball.
Well, you're still technically following the ball. You're following where it's going to go. But it's much harder to go up and down than to just go straight across. And if you pan it slower, because if you pan it too fast, what will happen is the image will like freak out and it'll get a little buggy. So it gets grainy and things like that. Whereas if you go slower, it has more time for the camera to catch up to what it's seeing. Does that make sense? I think you're thinking that you have to go faster to catch up to it. If you go a little bit slower, I promise we'll still get it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. David Roy, Paul Longoria here in the broadcast booth with you as always as we are back at House Park, starting off the season, back-to-back road games, now back-to-back home games, and the last, Paul, of the non-district play before you head into conference district play next week at Del Valley.
Yeah, it's the final tune-up, I guess you could say, before district play begins, and we alluded to it last week that the district opener against Del Valley from a playoff hope standpoint is big for this Austin team. But tonight they got to face a Temple team that's coming in with a 3-0 record. Pretty sizable win over the Maroons last year in a game that kind of got away from Austin High late first half and then pretty much all the second half. And Temple comes in. They definitely passed the eyeball test on the field. They got some really nice-looking players, and it's going to be a tough game tonight, tough final tune-up before district play begins next week.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll see just exactly what that entails, as it's always hard. We always talk about, what we see coming into it, but a lot of these non-district games, I mean, in this case, they're not easy. I mean, and sometimes you schedule your almost punching above your weight class a little bit, and so that can skew the results, can skew what you're seeing. But the other part of it is, too, you talk about adversity, and you're giving a lot of it up front. You're giving these kids a lot of experience up front with the hopes that come district, you will be a better team for having gone through what you've gone through. And the tough challenge, of course, is you don't want too easy of a district schedule or non-district schedule, because you don't want to get surprised when district rolls around. The other side of it is you don't want to punch too high above your weight class just in general, because then you lead potential discouragement.
Yes.
So there's kind of a fine line in there to walk.
It is.
Same non-district schedule, though, that they had last season, the home and home, right? We were at Temple last season. Now Temple coming into our house. But Temple going through the same thing that Austin High going through. A lot of new faces, a lot of new names. Temple side of things, from what we've heard and what we've seen, some upper-level college talent out there on the field as well.
Yes, for sure. And speaking of that, the defensive end, Jamarian Carlton, a Baylor commit, and certainly a young man that passes the eyeball test. When you look at him, he looks like he's all of every bit of 6'4", 240, 250 pounds, perhaps even bigger than that. But, Temple probably is going to be the most talented team so far that the Maroons have faced in this 4-game non-district stretch. So the good news is, and not disparaging any future opponents, but game against Del Valley next week is definitely going to be kind of that effect that you talked about, to where you've seen some pretty solid teams in non-district, and then when you can hit the ground running somewhat come district play in a game really that the Maroons need to win against Del Valley. But again, they've got. We'll see what they've got going on tonight against a Temple team that comes in. It's a pretty strong-looking team. I understand they got a lot to replace, but they've got some dudes back on that field as we shall see.
Well, the other thing that we're going to see, and we're going to get a first probably early look at it, of course, we don't know possession. Coin toss hasn't taken place yet, of course. But the one thing we're going to see, and it's kind of something where we've talked about throughout the course of the season, which is this offense is still just finding its footing, folks. And they're figuring it out from the quarterback spot to the offensive line to the wide receivers. Everybody's trying to get on the same page. You have a new system added into the mix of all that. Is a learning curve, and there is a learning curve with that. And with the learning curves comes growing pains. Right now you're seeing a lot of it. We saw a lot of it last week. Quarterbacks, wide receivers not quite able to get onto the same page in some spots. Couple of miscommunications, I'm sure, because as you recall, there were a couple throws where it almost looked like the quarterback was expecting the wide receiver to be in one spot. Right. Wide receiver was thinking he was going to be in a different spot. The ball was coming there, and so they're all working through it. The one thing they don't have to work through, they just need to get to help them is the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, they do, and I think what we saw last week, and really has kind of been a theme for the last couple of games. I know the scoreboard hasn't always reflected it, but the defense played a really good game last week. I understand if you look at the score, you're like, what are you talking about? But as we talked about live during the game, there were the majority of the points simply were not on the defense, like directly. 14 basically came on 2 botched punts, including one directly. Came on a block punt in the end zone. So I thought the defense held its own pretty well. They're going to be tested tonight, but, they're doing their best to help the offense, but the offense has got to help the defense. And really, at the risk of being blunt, 3 games in, the offense simply has not provided any sort of help to the defense.
Well, and again, it's a how do we get their mentality, right? And the one thing that Coach Cecil has harped on, which is just a little victories, right? And it's something that he's talked about in practice that he alluded to, which is we're just waiting for it to click. You and I saw that last week too, though, as we talked about the struggles on offense. It's I think for fans at home maybe just a little bit more frustrating because when you watch it and you experience it and you're here in the stadium and you see it with your own 2 eyes, you can see it several different plays where it's just you're right there.
Right there.
You're just not quite able to connect. You're just, for whatever reason, and again, it's maybe the pass gets too far out in front, if he maybe has a little bit more time, that extra half second in the pocket can make all the difference in the world. All of those things come to nest. That's why we said last week, we can't tell you what it is because there's simply too many factors going into it.
Yes.
Too many different variables between 4 new faces across the offensive line. You're still trying to sort out your quarterback position. Some wide receivers are new faces to the quarterbacks and vice versa. It all just comes together to create what you've seen so far. They know it. They're working through it.
Yeah.
We're working through it too. And so, again, patience.
Yes.
Patience, I think, is the lesson here. It took us a long way to get there, which I think just reinforces the point of patience.
Got to be patient. And we talked. You mentioned some of the position groups, and really the biggest one is as we've discussed has been that the offensive line where you lost so many snaps, so many guys last year that had 3 full years of experience, and really these are all new guys. And again, if you look at the roster, you'll see upperclassmen in there, but really it's a group that simply has not played very much. And so you can look at the designations of juniors or seniors, but if there's not been very many snaps, that really just kind of goes out the window. And that's the toughest thing to try to build in one off season is to manufacture a new offensive line.
Yeah. We're going to see too, and I think that's the one unit that it takes the longest to gel, right? And especially in a day and age of the 7-on-7 camps and everything like that. Quarterback, wide receiver chemistry, it's a little bit easier to create. It's a little bit easier and faster to build because you have so much of that. But the rules around full contact and things like that, it's harder for your offensive line to gel until they're able to really start in on that. And it just takes them just a little bit longer to come together,
Yeah.
for those pieces to come together and click. And I think once that does happen, we're in a different conversation, and we're in a different conversation once the rest of it then, as a byproduct, is able to come together too.
Exactly. So we'll hopefully we'll see more of it tonight, or a little more that we've seen from the offense tonight, and that the defense continues to grow and to show what they can do as they did last week, and even to some extent the weekend before.
Well, the one thing you don't have to worry about growing and needing to show the extent is Reed Childers in this backfield.
Yeah.
He was a workhorse, a brute force in the backfield last season. And, fans at home, well, why don't you just keep feeding him the ball and running the ball? Well, that's fine. But, again, for the same reason we talked about, you got to give the other guys reps because you need those other units to figure things out.
Yeah.
I think we will see, though, you're going to see a lot more Reed Childers tonight. And Childers, with him and Caleb DeLeon helping to split the load there in that backfield, you got a little bit of the smash and dash between the two of them.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a little bit more of that. The one thing we haven't talked about, we really haven't had a chance to talk too much about it, that could help this offense right now that you don't get to have because he went and committed to Army, as I recall. There's no Bryson Batts here to come to the rescue.
No, there isn't. And he was able to make big plays from a number of different spots on the field last year, whether it was in return game, receiving game, running game, and they to this point we just haven't seen somebody been able to step up into that role. But
that's a big shoes to fill.
It is. And again, you can give also some credit where credit is due. I mean, Batts again running behind a really veteran offensive line, and had some experience back there at quarterback, had some help at running back with Childers, and they basically had a three-headed monster at running back last year, and really we just don't have that right now.
You were able to move Batts around. We talk about Batts, and he got lined up at tailback, lined up, split out wide, got moved around all over the place, keep defenses guessing. The one player who I think might be able to fill that role, we just haven't seen him for the last couple of weeks, is Jaden Vasquez, who's kind of slowly starting to reingratiate himself into the lineup, starting to work his way in. Of course, we'll show you the starting lineup a little bit later as we get things set up and going here tonight. It's all part of the equation, and we're going to see, we talk about this is a really good Temple team. Really talented, was a talented team last year when we went into their house.
Yeah.
So one of the conversations I think Coach Cecil, when he took over, he could have changed the schedule if he had wanted to on the non-district. Chose to ride it out. Said, no, let's keep it the same.
Yeah.
That adversity is what you need and what you need to build on, and we'll hope that it will make a big difference going into next week as district play will be set to get going. So, look, we've set the table. We've set up all that you need to know coming into this. A lot of talent on the Temple side. There's plenty of talent to be had here on the side of the Maroons, who are going to be wearing tonight the white helmets, the black jerseys, the white pants. A little bit of a change up for them coming in here at home. One of the few teams, I think, that have, 3 different sets of uniforms, 2 different sets of helmets. They got the white lids to go with it, Temple. Blue lids and the white on white.
Pretty good group of fans traveling from Temple to make the game.
It's not like they have to go very far. I think they're going to have a tougher time finding a parking spot than they will finding a way down here.
For sure, yes. And they have the luxury of going against the traffic, making their way down here. But it's still a bit of a trek. But, of course, Temple's a team, Central Texas team with a long storied football tradition. So they take a lot of pride in their Wildcat football, and it's not surprising they brought some fans with them.
Of course, you talk about going against the grain of traffic. I don't know how true that is. UT is at home tomorrow.
True, okay.
So, you're going to have some traffic trying to get out because they don't want to be here when UT is at home because they know what it's going to look like. And then you have some coming in strictly to be here because UT is back at home tomorrow. And we're all kind of at that same spot right now between college and the high school level of last week of non-district play, college level, almost the last week of non-conference.
Yeah.
You're about to start seeing conference play start to pick up and ramp up here in the collegiate level.
You know, the disappointing thing for those for the Temple fans is on their way home, the first Buc-ee's they get to pretty much is there in Temple. So unless they want to make a stop before they drive 2 more minutes to their house.
I guess.
They probably stopped on the way down. Let's load
what?
up at Buc-ee's, and then we'll make our way to Austin.
Get the snacks for you to sit in traffic on the way down. Be prepared. The Wildcats take the field. You know, the one thing, too, notice this is kind of becoming a trend, too, again, the multicolored face mask to the helmet. They've got the red face mask to go with the blue lids right here. And so here come the Maroons of Austin High. The Maroons and the Wildcats set up, ready to roll here at House Park.
First defense, we'll have drums first and then September. So, Patty, drums first defense, or drums first, then September after that. Make sure you have
Well, the Maroons will see their captains take the field to Temple's. Davenport, Borth, Friday. Some of the big name captains that you'll see out here on this field. And the 4 that will go out tonight. Of course, Davenport. Friday will stay behind and man the deck for the coin toss here, but Borth out there among them. And then Ethan Kale, the other captain. Are having a conversation. Maroons, I believe, have won the toss. And they will get the ball to start.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem by Austin High's own Eddie Butterworth.
Well, the table has been set, and the Maroons, they'll get set here to receive. Temple will kick when we return. You're watching Maroon football here on the Vibe Live Network.
Please visit awesomefootballofficials.org and register to be an official next season. Our referee is Wayne Elliott. Umpire Nick Foreman. Head linesman Derek McDaniel. Line judge Ralph Hadley. Back judge Julian Albright. Field judge Conway Swan. We have Tanner King. And the chain gang, Nathan Longo, Donald Ray Drummer, and Anthony Bettis. All right, House Park, let's get ready for some football.
Welcome in. If you're just tuning in, just joining us. The Maroons are still filling in. We got a full house up here in the broadcast booth tonight. Temple Media has come down. Dave Campbell's down the road from us. And, of course, those of us, your Vibe crew. And your home for Austin High Maroon football. Short kick here. As is fielded down at the 32. Actually, just cross it there back at the 28-yard line. So with it comes your first look at this Maroon offense. Whit Davenport, Reed Childers. Owen Watley, the fullback there to keep an eye on in the backfield. And then, of course, your wide receiver core, Jane Vasquez, Lorenzo Hoopman, Logan Davis, the tight end, Mac Diamond. And then the big boys up front going to be charged with protecting the quarterback, Aguilar, Garcia, Schmidt, Oni, and Young. As a quick throw here to the near side is complete. But there is a flag down.
It looks like that's going to be some encroachment or offsides on Temple. So Coach Cecil will have a decision between 1st and 5 or 2nd and 3. My guess is he'll take 2nd and 3. I don't know if he was a late scratch. Looks like Reed Childers is out. See him in his jersey top and street clothes.
Childers, who would normally be your starter at running back here.
Well, they are going to take the penalty. They're going to go 1st and 5 as opposed to 2nd and 3. I would have gone 2nd and 3.
I would have gone 2nd and 3, but, you know, we're not responsible for that decision.
That's right. It's not our call.
Davenport will line up under center. He'll motion Watley into the backfield, set up in a traditional I formation. Snap, they'll give it to the fullback. Watley, he'll churn ahead, and he'll maybe get a yard. I'll bring up 2nd and 4. I formation, the give again. De Leon weaving his way through traffic, and Caleb De Leon has got enough for a first down.
Good blocking there on the right side. Nice hole for De Leon to get through immediately and get the first down. Big early first down. We've talked about it. Austin High's got to do a much better job than they have thus far this season on, besides scoring, really just kind of hanging on to the ball.
Yeah.
You gotta get rid of the 3 and outs and putting so much stress on your defense. So every first down is more time off that clock to try to get this game shortened. And so solid, nice first set of downs there for the Maroons.
Single back set here. Receiver coming in motion. A little fumble with a snap there from Davenport, but he'll churn ahead and pick up a solid chunk of yardage. Gain of about 8 on first down. Brings up 2nd and 2.
Yeah, right there pretty much between the left guard and tackle. Another nice hole for De Leon to get up through and pick up 8 yards. This is what they got to do. We've mentioned it. You got to really be productive on first down. This is not an offense that's really predicated on being able to make explosive plays. So when you can get 2nd and 5, and better, that's a great start for them. Crucial start. Fumbled snap.
Receiving a motion was Ford, and a little bit of a pile up there at the line to gain. They'll give it to him, I believe, and that should be good enough.
Yeah, they're giving it. Looks like
down.
They gave it to him. Well, they're going to measure it. Looks like, they're going to bring him out. No, they gave him the first down. Okay, I thought I saw a signal to officials timeout, but for measurement, but it's not.
Well, and Davenport had come over to the sideline thinking it was going to be an official's timeout, only for them to just go ahead, give them the first down. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the midfield stripe. Ford and Hoopman split out wide. And they'll come into the backfield. Davenport, play fake, has time, launching this one, and that one altered from within his hand while in the flight path. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Not necessarily Davenport's fault, as...
Well, the protection wasn't bad. Right tackle did a nice job. He was squared up against Jamari Carlton, and the blocking wasn't bad. Carlton, with just a very long frame, able to get that left hand out there and either tip the ball or get Davenport's arm on the throw to cause the incompletion.
Play fake again. Davenport looks, good coverage, takes off, and overshot Brady Ford. Ford was trying to draw a penalty, and I think they would argue that was not quite a catchable ball. Davenport led him a little bit too far for that to be considered. That'll bring up 3rd and 10 for the Maroons from midfield.
One thing I'm seeing early is Davenport is coming close to the sidelines on every play, getting the signal in. That's something that we haven't really seen this season. He's coming all the way to the numbers, get the play from the Austin High sideline.
Davenport gets snap off, and he's in trouble. Too much of a pass rush in his face right away.
Nice drive-ins after 2 first downs and a big sack. 10-yard loss there by Davenport. Temple brought a blitz right up the A-gap, and De Leon got a pretty good block on him, but really there was 2 or 3 other Temple defenders that got in there and were able to make the sack pretty easy. Davenport with no time.
High snap, Peterson able to just get this one away. And this will roll out of bounds, and that is where this will go and come to a stop.
I made a direct left turn once it hit the ground. 90 degrees. That football bounced any number of ways.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Temple, and they will start at their own 29-yard line. And that means we will get our first look this evening at this Maroon defense. Snap, drop back, lofting this one-on-one down the field. Excellent coverage by Alex Alderson downfield.
Yeah, if he doesn't, he gets his hand there literally at the last minute after the Temple receiver had his hands on it on the deep go pattern to knock that ball out. If he doesn't do that, that's a big play early for the Wildcats.
Snap, give outside, trying to get the edge. Henry Clifton coming downhill from his safety spot, and they will whistle that one dead. That'll go for no gain, maybe even a loss of a yard. That looks like that's what it'll be, 3rd and 11.
3rd and 11 for the Wildcats.
Snap, in trouble, lofting this one, the one-on-one, too far out in front. And it'll be incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th and long. And so once again, as has been the case for most of the season, this awesome Maroon defense, they get the stop. They get the holding stop there. Quick 3 and out for an offense that in the early going looked pretty good, moving the ball here a little bit.
Temple's without the last year, Temple's quarterback Champ Mayo had a really big game against the Maroons, but he got injured a couple of weeks ago, and it sounds like he's going to be out for a while. So they've got sophomore in there, Kylan Bassinger.
Botch snap on the punt, and getting through, Jackson Taylor. And the Maroons are set up, but there is a flag.
Well, judging where it's from, it doesn't look. It looks like it's going to be more of a motion penalty as opposed to an offsides or anything. I've got to believe this is on Temple. Got a hold against
against the Maroons.
That is the 2nd week in a row that the Maroons have gotten a hold on
defense.
On a punt, getting ready to receive a punt. Wow.
So now the Maroons are. So a little bit of confusion of who's doing what. It's a 10-yard penalty. That does not make it first down. It'll be 4th and 1. Jason Martinez, is still out there.
They're going. The Temple offense has come back on the field.
The Maroons have walked their defense back out there, with the exception of Martinez, who I'm guessing would serve as a secondary corner in the event that they were to change their mind and kind of try, how some of them have done, where they line up the offense, then they change their mind and have the quarterback just sort of drop kick it.
Yeah.
You have Martinez out there to consider. Okay, now they're going to waive this. It is a 1st and 10.
Wow, I thought they lost yardage on that.
So so the holding penalty gets enforced from the spot of the foul, which from where it was would be enough to give them the first down. As a give here doesn't initially looked like it wasn't going to pick up a whole heck of a lot, and instead
looks like they're going to give them about 4 on the play.
I was going to say, looking like it's a gain of about 4. 2nd and 6. snap. A little bubble screen out there. Makes one, makes two, makes three, miss. How about a fourth? Off to the races. There's a fifth and a sixth look tackle. Down the sideline and in for a touchdown.
Well, there wasn't anything fancy about that. Just a quick little swing pass, and receiver does all the rest. He made about 5-6 Austin High defenders miss, literally going from one side of the field outside the numbers to the outside of the other numbers, making his way into the end zone.
The senior Ramon Brown went down the field. The extra point is good.
That's got to be, I don't want to say a bit deflating, but you get the chance to make that first stop with your defense out there, and you get called for holding downfield a little bit, which gives Temple a first down, when not only was Temple punting the ball, they botched the snap, and Austin High was getting ready to set up shop at about the 25-yard line of Temple, but you get the holding penalty, you get the first down on the walk-off, on the penalty walk-off, yardage walk-off, and then you turn a short little pass into a 55-yard touchdown.
And the first points for the Wildcats come at 6:15. So I said earlier Temple was white on white. I was half right. They're white on blue half, and then white on white half. Is this another pooch kick? Fair catch signaled by John Burns. There's a flag, and that'll go against Temple.
Okay, there's going to be two penalties. First one is going to be offsides on Temple, but they'll refuse that one, but they will take this unnecessary roughness. Wasn't a vicious hit, but the Austin High Maroon had already taken a knee.
Well, and he waved too.
He waved,
got
yeah.
the wave
Yeah,
up first,
yeah.
kneeled down when he caught it. And
so this will give Austin High the ball just shy of midfield.
a little meeting of the United Nations, as I like to refer to it.
Yeah.
Meeting of the Zebras, Coach Cecil in the middle of it as well.
Okay, they'll get both. Okay, they'll get 5 yards for the offsides, and because the other play was a dead ball foul, they'll get 15 added on. So 20-yard penalty, and the Maroons will start in plus field position at the Temple 46.
So outstanding field position for the Maroons from their own, or from Temple rather, excuse me, from the Temple 46-yard line. Davenport out of the gun here to start in a 3-wide set. They're looking like they're, whether or not there should have been a fourth. Davis comes in motion. Snap, give. A little bit of a boomerang play as they call it, and Davis gets dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3.
Carlton coming around to make that play from the backside.
Well, they brought Davis in motion into the backfield, and he went around like it was going to be an orbit, then stopped on the other side of Davenport and came back to get the handoff. And Temple not fooled. They were prepared. Time ticking down inside of 6 minutes here near the 5.5-minute mark. 7-0 Temple lead.
Maroons seem to have a little bit of a difficulty getting that play signaled in, or to interpret what the play was going to be. There's going to be a delay game penalty there. Wow. He just, you just can't have that. You got to get that play call in quicker, or it's got to be processed, whatever the signal is. But there was clearly some back and forth motioning between Davenport and the staff as to, okay, what the play is.
Right.
So bring up a 2nd and 17 for the Maroons.
This drive began at the Temple 46. They'll empty out the backfield. Davenport, snap off. In trouble, gets away from one, can't get away from two, down he goes.
Well, they just ran another A-gap blitz, and first person almost made that sack coming through that gap, but Davenport was able to avoid it, but there was another defender right there and to clean it up. So he had Austin High now staring almost at a 3rd and 30. 29 to be precise.
A timeout taken.
Well, I got to believe Temple's just going to keep continuing to call that A-gap blitz. It's coming. That's the second time they've done it. It's come completely unblocked.
Well, especially now, Woquan
Yeah.
Schmidt comes off the field, kind of hobbled his way off, and so in his stead comes in Caden Luke for this 3rd and 29 play call. And the snap, little screen here, and maybe a little bit too fancy. Brady Ford tried to pull that in with one hand, could not do it, and that'll set up 4th and long.
Well, the good field position goes for naught as Austin Hyde simply goes backwards on that drive.
Peterson back to punt this one away. High snap, able to get it down, gets this one away. Quick step on his part, beautiful punt, and takes a high bounce, and then will roll to a stop.
Well, they're going to mark it up further where the Maroon
It doesn't look like they are.
coverage. Well, I saw the official throw his beanbag.
Okay, there we go.
And it was touched.
Yeah, he bumped it first.
Yeah, and they're going to give it to him at the 27.
Yep.
Down by number 21, Dick Geyer.
Pistol set here for the Wildcats. And they'll look to throw, wanting it all, and underthrown severely. A miscommunication there, almost as if they were expecting this to be broken back off.
Yeah.
Back towards the sideline, which is where that throw was just about placed.
Either that or just a bad throw.
Kylan Basinger at the helm here for the Wildcats. He'll set up in the gun. Snap, give, and the inside run doesn't pick up much. It'll be 3rd and about 7.
Brings up 3rd down for the Wildcats.
Stay in that pistol look. Basinger off the snap. He'll look. Lofting this one. Has a man wide open. And it is caught. And that'll go for a Temple touchdown.
Well, that looked like a blown coverage. It didn't look like anybody got beat unless they were just so so badly they weren't within 20 yards of the ball, but more than likely some sort of miscommunication on the back end by the Maroon secondary. And slot receiver wide open down the seam.
The wide receiver, Preston Thomas, just got behind everybody, and Basinger, the young sophomore, able to see it. And the two will connect, and that'll give Temple a quick 14-0 lead over the Maroons with just about 3 minutes remaining here in the first quarter of play.
Well, last year's game was a pretty tight battle first quarter and a half, and before things kind of got away from the Maroons. But this one feels like it's on the precipice of getting away a lot quicker.
Kick this one away. High, deep. This will be fielded. And trying to reverse field, Jaden Vasquez before he gets brought down.
He did a nice job of kind of weaving his way up and working his way up. I thought maybe he made one last bounce to the outside that was a little too much. If he'd cut it up, he might have been able to pick up a few more yards, but not a bad return. Set him up about the 27-28. The Maroons after a solid first drive, picking up a couple of first downs, really have come to a bit of a halt offensively. Not been able to get anything going back in the passing game or in the running game.
Come back under center here. And stopped in his tracks. Caleb DeLeon. He barely got the handoff before he was brought down.
Carlton again has just wreaked havoc so far in the Maroon offense. Kind of showing why early he's going to a Big 12 school.
A little bit, just a smidge. I'll come out in the I formation, long second down, 2nd and 16. Snap, flag thrown early here as DeLeon gets the carry.
Well, this will be either a first down, an offside or a illegal formation. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. It was thrown right away at the snap. Yep, it's going to be didn't have enough people in the backfield. I mean, really, and I know Temple's declining the penalty. Obviously, they'll take the third.
Sure.
They'll take the 3rd and 15 as opposed to 2nd and 20. But Ali, you just those pre-snap penalties just kill you. I mean, not having 7 on the line of scrimmage is pretty much inexcusable.
Snap to Davenport. He'll look. Quick throw. Had Davis coming up the sideline on the wheel, and it is incomplete. People at home.
Temple should have good field position here. Line of scrimmage, Maroons at their own 24.
This punt is away, and it will bounce at the 48. Take a Maroon bounce and roll. Out of bounds down inside the 30.
Nice punt there by Peterson. Friendly roll to pick up another 10 yards. Well, it looks like if Temple throws the ball, they're going to throw the ball downfield. You got a young quarterback. He'll pretty much look like just take the snap and look for a go route.
They'll just keep it easy.
Yeah. Snap. Quick 3-step drop, let the ball go.
Basinger comes up to the line, looks like a check. Some communication on the defensive front. Snap, give, and barreling through one. Ball popped out late as Van Coxer able to help come up with a stop. That'll bring up a modest 2nd and 2. Receiver coming in motion. And they'll fake the jet sweep, a handoff here to the inside, and the Maroon defense will swarm. And that'll go for a loss of 1. Brings up 3rd and 3 here for the Temple Wildcats. Down inside a minute, nearing that 30-second mark here in this first quarter of play. As Temple goes up tempo, they'll look to the sideline. They do have to get the snap off to beat the play clock. So they will run one more before the end of the quarter. Basinger looks, launches this, downfield, incomplete. Clifton in coverage. A lot of fighting down the field, but no flags are thrown.
Temple had 2 receivers in the same area. I don't know if someone ran the wrong route, and one of the Temple assistants is, I think he's getting on the receiver that didn't make the catch, but well, they're going for it here.
Kylan Basinger in the gun, claps a few times trying to get the Maroons to jump off sides. They don't fall for it. They'll look to the sideline. Game clock stopped due to the incompletion. Time ticking away here. Here's the snap. Basinger in trouble right away. Sacked on 4th down.
Well, gamble there that Temple took. I thought they'd try to run something a little bit quicker, but Jackson Taylor came in quick in that defensive end spot to make that play. Big sack there, and Maroons setting up shop at the 27-yard line of the Temple Wildcats. Probably going to be the last play of the first quarter.
I formation here. I believe you would be correct. Receiver coming to motion is Hoopman. Snap, give, DeLeon trying to pick his way forward.
It's about 4 yards. Looks like, I mean, just based on that play, I don't know if that was necessarily determined by the place on the field where they had the ball, but Austin High going under center, classic I formation. Almost felt like I was watching something from the mid-'80s, offensive set-wise, but they've had a lot of trouble protecting the quarterback, and they had some success early running the ball. Maybe they're going to try to take some of the air out of it, particularly with this chance to try to strike and get on the scoreboard here.
Well, it's the end of the first quarter. Temple on top, 14-0, but the Maroons, they're in striking distance, and they've got 2nd and 6 when we return. Here on the Vibe Live Network, your home for Maroon football.
Please try to stop by the merchandise table ready after the stadium tonight. Catch the field and visit Austin Merch. Thanks to Daphne Bell for leading our merch team this season.
Welcome back in. David Roy, Paul Longoria here in the broadcast booth as we get you set here and early movement. Mac Diamond, it looked like they're at the tight end spot trying to get a head start.
Looked like De Leon also was leaving early from running back spot, but you know there's that penalty again. You go from 2nd and 6 now to 2nd and 11. And it's a lot for this Maroon offense to try to claw back, believe it or not.
So it'll back the Maroons up 5. They only picked up 4 on first down. Snap, play fake. Davenport in trouble. Barely could fake the handoff before he gets buried under the weight of this Temple pass rush. 3rd down.
They just have struggled all game trying to protect him. I suspect Temple's going to come with some pressure.
Long 3rd down for Davenport and the Maroons to try and overcome. Snap, Davenport has to bail right away. Lofts this one, too far in front. He had Brady Ford, and he just couldn't hook up.
Yeah, I think I understand he was under duress and he was flushing the pocket early, but he had some room out once he cleared the pocket, and I think if he waits maybe even just a half tick longer, he gives Ford a chance to clear that defender a little bit more and get downfield. Maroons will now they're going to take a timeout. They were showing they were going for it at the 4th and about 16 from the 34. But they're going to take a timeout, talk about it. Minutes here in the 2nd quarter. Timeout for the Maroons. Trailing 14-0 to Temple. Austin High trying to take advantage of this great field position they got when Temple turned the ball over on downs deep in their own territory on a sack. Jackson Taylor. They're going to send the punting unit back on.
Had to think about it. And so Peterson will punt this one away. High snap, able to corral it, gets this one off. That'll hit inside the 5. Alderson can't put it back into the field of play. And so Temple will take back over. Up 14. And they will start with a touchback at their own 20.
Well, that's the second time that the Maroons have had really good field position and plus territory, particularly on that one, and simply just didn't do anything with it. In fact, moved backwards on the drive.
As this handoff here,
Rugby scrum.
a little bit. Gets a yard, maybe 2 on first down.
Number 4, Valley Haley on the carry. Stopped by a Maroon. Second down, Wildcats.
Actually, you end up giving him 3 as another give here. Breaking loose. And Brown finally swung down.
Number 4, Valley Haley.
Big gain out to midfield. It was about 23 yards on that.
Excuse me, Neely gets swung down there.
Temple now running a little bit of hurry up on this, on that first down. Now they'll go to the air with it.
Quick throw outside. Defense reacts well to it as John Burns and Henry Clifton get over there to make the stop. Holds it to a modest gain of about 3. 2nd and 7. Basinger and the Temple Wildcats staying up tempo here. And the give to the inside. Temple Monster, or Turf Monster rather, got him.
Got him. Bring up a 3rd and 7.
Cavill Neely tripped before he could even get to the line of scrimmage.
Turf Monster makes a lot of tackles.
That's exactly right. And it is impartial. It'll get anybody and everybody.
That's right. Yep.
Play fake, Basinger. Little pump fake here. Jackson Taylor had him. Basinger able to get out of it before he's run out of bounds, and the Maroon faithful won a holding call on Taylor.
Yeah, it looked like it. He certainly got taken to the ground. I don't know if that was just I was going to say, nobody was set there. It's got to be some sort of procedure
there,
going on.
yeah. So it'll be 1st and 15. For the Wildcats, snap, Basinger looks, far sideline, pass is complete, and steps out of bounds. Not quite enough for a first down.
Gets back to 5 yards plus an additional 4 on that. Sets up a 2nd and 6. Another quick throw to the outside.
And quick defensive response here. Vince Geyer in there on the tackle, holds them to a gain of 1.
It's going to be about 3rd and 5. Now Temple's going to, or at least they've gone on this series, just quick passes to the outside.
Pistol set here from Basinger and the Wildcats. Snap, give, trying to pick a hole. The Maroons bottling up. Ethan Kale comes through with that final stop. Gain of 2, and that brings up 4th down and about 3. Temple, as they've done consistently tonight, they'll keep the offense on the field. Basinger out of that pistol set. Early movement. Got the defensive flinch. Free play. Basinger to the end zone. Alderson. It was caught. It's a touchdown.
Well, when you get that jump by the defense and you know not only do you have the free play, but you've got the first down, you just basically throw that go pattern. And I didn't think it was that badly defended. Just receiver came down with it. Throw got to the outside of the Austin defensive back, the Maroon defensive back, and receiver made the catch for a score.
Better throw and a better catch, taking advantage of the free play, and Temple ready to extend their lead. the kick is up, and it is good.
Ethan Worley's kick is good. Temple, 21. Austin High, 0.
Well, even if they hadn't scored on it, it would have been first down for Temple due to the flinch from the Maroons. And we talk about all the physical rigors that go into the sport of football. Not nearly enough credit goes to the members of the marching band or of the cheer team who have to take these flags from one end zone all the way to the other end zone after every score.
And when they're scoring a lot,
you get a workout. I mean,
you get a workout.
You gotta, at what point, I mean, I got to think they have some reserves that you can kind of turn to. And, hey, tag in for me for this one, would you?
Yeah,
I've been running up and down. I've been running 200 yards for the last couple of plays.
Hauling that flag up and down's got to.
I mean, and those flags aren't exactly light
no,
either.
They're
I mean,
not.
They're pretty hefty.
They got a lot of drag on them.
This kick be fielded from inside the 10 by the Maroons. And they'll come to a stop just short of the 30. Didn't quite get a good look at who it was. I believe it was Davis. Well, that's where we'll get this Maroon offense to start. 7:42 to play here in the first half. Maroons trail 21-0. But this offense has been moving. It's had spurts here where they've been clicking. I think the one thing right now that's, if you could say it's holding back this offense, it's just those pre-snap penalties. I think you get those cleaned up. You got a couple drives here put together.
Yeah, they've.
It's the penalties that have really killed the drives here tonight for the Maroons.
Kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit.
They'll come under center, receiver coming in motion. Snap from Davenport, give to DeLeon. DeLeon trying to find his way across the right side. Gets another modest gain. So this ground game for the Maroons right now, picking up some decent chunks of yardage. They'll give them 4 on first down. That'll bring up 2nd and 6. Maybe actually it looks more like they only gave them 3.
3, yeah.
So 2nd and 7. Davenport comes under center. Time ticking away. Snap. Little flea flicker. Davenport almost seemed like he wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, that was a quick pitch back by DeLeon. You try to sell it a little bit more. Of course, it didn't look like DeLeon was going to have a whole lot of time to be able to get rid of that ball, but the timing just was not there. You could see it almost immediately when he was turning to make that throw. Davenport was not in position to really make the catch and be ready to throw the ball downfield. That's a loss of about 10 yards, it looks like.
3rd and about 18. So you talk about it. I mean, that pass rush got through, or the rush got through so quickly. DeLeon, almost as soon as he took 2 steps, had to turn and pitch it.
Yeah.
And Davenport just had not gotten his feet around in time. As a quick wide receiver screen here, that falls incomplete as well. Davenport trying to lead Ford upfield, and Ford, I guess, wasn't quite ready for it, had his feet planted, and he tried to reach for it. Give him credit, just a little bit harder to kind of stop and start, because usually on those screens you're trying to sell it upfield and then stop.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit harder when you're having to start again as your quarterback's trying to lead you upfield and get you moving. So it'll bring up 4th and 18. Peterson heels at his own 6. Gets the punt away. And this will take a Maroon bounce. Dangerous return effort here by Temple.
Yeah, he picked that thing up on kind of a crooked bounce, but he snatched it out of midair clean and was able to get upfield for about 6 yards. Temple start just inside Maroon territory.
Rodney Nelson on that return, living a little dangerously.
He was. Those punt returners, though, they can be pretty daring.
Yeah, you kind of have to be willing to stand back there and take your eyes off everybody running at you.
But, that was a good decision. You may be, even if you get tackled immediately, you probably save, 8-10 yards on another bounce. But takes a special breed back there to be an effective punt returner, to use good judgment and have good hands and, kind of said, be willing to put their body on the line there. Gain of about 4 by Temple.
And nearly in, there's an interception. And Whistle's blowing this one dead. John Burns wishing he could have that one back. He had clean field in front of him.
Yeah, he was going the other way. Batted the ball down. It bounced. It did take a bounce quickly right back up to him.
He knew exactly what to do with it once he got his hands on it that second time. He took off. Snap again, Basinger. Lofts. And that one trying to layer it in. Ball's incomplete. Brings up 4th down, looking the direction of Ramon Brown.
Temple keeping their offense out on the field. 4th and 6, from the Maroon 45-yard line. Maybe this isn't a decision you make if it's a one-score game, but they've got a 3-touchdown cushion here, so they have the luxury of being able to take a few chances, particularly with the way the Maroons' offense has really struggled. So, but they're going to letting the clock wind down a little bit, but they're lined up like they're going to run it. They do.
Basinger looks, launches this one down the field. Incomplete, Vince Geyer. Initially looked like he had Nelson, and the one-on-one between Nelson and Geyer, the safety, and Geyer able to pop it out at the last moment, incomplete, and the Maroons take over.
Well, they needed about 5 or 6. They just figured they'd try to get all 45 for the score.
Go for the whole enchilada.
That's right. Again, those are kind of choices you can make when you kind of working with such a lead.
Yeah, you build yourself up to a 21-point cushion.
Maroons at the start this drive on their own 45, trying to get something going.
Davenport out of the gun, snap. Quick throw for Vasquez, and incomplete.
Thought the defender might have gotten there a hair early, but no flag on the play. But, golly, Davenport's got to make that. He's got to make a better throw. That's a fairly routine throw to the out 5 yards, and he puts it a little bit too far ahead. Kind of throws the receiver right into the defender. I mean, you got to be more accurate on a play like that. You're hoping to get an easy 5 yards there, but kind of a poor pass puts you at 2nd and 10.
Well, and give credit to Jeremiah Blunson, the corner out here working against Ford on this near side. Had the incompletion there. Play clock was winding down, and the Maroons will burn a timeout. I'll be their second here of the half. They'll have one remaining as they stare down 2nd and 10, 5:07 to play. Here in this first half. And despite how lopsided it's been, a couple things to keep in mind. Hey, this Maroon offense, we talk about improvement. We talk about the small victories. We talk about building from one week to the next. All things Coach Cecil has said and stressed, by the way. And you can see it visibly. The ground game looks pretty good, And the passing game, it's just a matter, I think, of repetition. Once you get a few more in, I think you'll see these passes start connecting, and that's really the issue at hand here, is you're just not quite able to connect. As Davenport, they set up a screen, and Brady Ford hauls it in downfield.
Well, that was probably Davenport's best pass of the year. He kind of ran a little bit of action with a fake handoff to De Leon going to the left, and Davenport did a nice job of just kind of slowly moving to his right, not being in a hurry. Dropped a really good pass in there to Ford in between two layers of defense.
And De Leon bursts through the middle of the defense, and he'll pick up a nice chunk of yardage. Picks up, I would say, about 6.
Looks like about 6.
They'll bring up 2nd and 4 for the Maroons. Snap again. They'll go right back to him. De Leon fighting for yardage.
He'll get the first down. He's got it. He 1st and 10. Maroons at the 25 of Temple. So got some things working on this drive. Really need to convert here as that clock winding down towards the 4-minute mark.
Davis will check in here for Patrick Bird. Like you said, Davenport keeps coming to the sideline. So it was pointed out this week that they are not using the direct from stadium down to the field level communication, just that the UIL has allowed access to that, but Austin High not using it at this time. Davenport with a new set of downs. He'll roll out to his right, lofts this one, looking for Logan Davis. And it is incomplete, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10. They run the naked boot just to this near side, and
well, you run out of room real quick, though, running to that side, and that play didn't take too long to disintegrate into no gain.
Well, and it's hard, too. You have the wider hash marks like you do at the collegiate level, and so when you run that to that short side, there's not a lot of field for your quarterback in Davenport to work with.
Not a lot of field and a lot of defenders. If you're not running any motion the other way.
Single back. They give it on the jet sweep, and Brady Ford tucks and just plows through.
He's got to read that block. Got to read that block better. He had the tackle that had his defender sealed to the outside, but Ford tries to go around and bounce it to the outside, basically runs into the defender. If he cuts off that tackle's left hip, drives it upfield and picks up probably 5-6 yards.
So it'll be 3rd and 12. Davenport to throw, has time, but it ran out quickly. And Davenport maybe escaped for a moment before he is again and finally brought down. Loss of about 5. Brings up 4th and 17 for the Maroons as we near the 2.5-minute mark.
They're going to let this run down, it would appear. They're not in a hurry to get a play call in. Looks like they're going to let it down, and Temple's going to call timeout.
Yep.
Okay.
Timeout. Temple. First timeout.
Temple says we're going to save at least another play or two, and we're just going to, if you're going to call a timeout and let 10 more seconds run off, we'll do it for you.
Well, and it just seems, Austin High not in a hurry in terms of running another play out there.
Yeah.
Like you said, trying to get that clock to wind down.
Yeah.
They want to get to the 2-minute timeout, want to get into the locker room, kind of adjust a little bit and settle in. And I get, fans at home, you're sitting here thinking, man, this is a long night. I mean, and things like that. Those self-defeating aspects that we talk about. And we told you last week, this is a glass half full broadcast booth, okay?
Yeah.
It's 21-0. I get it. The scoreboard is what the scoreboard is. But your offense, for the most part, is moving. you get rid of some of the self-inflicted wounds in terms of the pre-snap penalties, things look, I think, a lot different. And if you can just stay ahead, you keep this pass rush negated to some degree and make things a little bit easier on Davenport.
Well, they're showing like they're going to go for it.
Davenport,
They are.
He will, snaps it, looks, lofts one for Vasquez, incomplete, had Davis
Well,
coming as well.
There's going to be a flag. Looks like it's going to be a personal foul, so this will. It should set up Austin High with the first down.
And so to go against Temple. Jamarian Carlton, that young premier pass rusher you talked about, the guilty party, and he has just bailed out this Maroon offense. It'll give them, on the roughing the passer call, a 1st and 10. And by the way, give credit to Whit Davenport. He has taken
He's taking some hits
tonight.
Yes,
he just continues to get back up
Yeah.
and go back to work.
Yes. Yeah, he has definitely been through a punishing first half under a lot of duress, a lot of physical contact.
Just the toughness to keep it going. They fake the jet sweep. De Leon fighting for yardage, and he will dive forward to try and get back to the line of scrimmage, and that should bring us to the 2-minute timeout, and it will.
This is a 2-minute timeout.
They'll say he did lose a yard, more like half of a yard. So it's 2nd and 11, 2-minute timeout. So what kind of gracious hosts would we be if we didn't pay some bills up here in the broadcast booth, your meal sponsor tonight? Is Torchy's. Torchy's Tacos, of course, big friend of, I would say the program, but that's not quite entirely accurate. They're not friends of us. They are friends of Austin High, which I guess by extension that makes them, friends of us up here in the booth here.
Yeah.
My wife and I like to go Torchy's like everybody else. I mean, who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Davenport out of the gun. Give to De Leon. De Leon surges ahead before another one of those rugby-like scrums, and they'll stop him just short. And a timeout taken here again by Temple. So that is their second here of the half. So with a quick timeout, we'll pay a couple more bills here for you. Our MVP level sponsors. Z3 Real Estate, Nance Orthopedics, Plains Capital Bank, St. John's Studio, and of course, Tarrytown Pharmacy. All big friends of the Maroons, which makes them friends of us here in the booth. Staring at a third down, Davenport out of the gun. He'll snap it. He'll look. Pressure on his face. Lofts that one, and it just comes up short. The pressure to the interior of this offensive line prevents Davenport from being able to step into the throw, and that'll fall incomplete.
Well, De Leon's really, boy, I tell you what, he's doing his best to get that blitzer coming up that A gap. That's been about 4th or 5th time, it seems like, and it has not been a soft collision. And that might have been the hardest one, and Davenport was barely able to get that throw off as that blitzer came full throttle into De Leon, got him into Davenport.
Kick is up from Peterson, spirals, dies just short. Not sure if it was the hold or if he didn't get a hold of it the way he wanted, but it does not come through.
Yeah, that kick did look really good. It didn't appear to have been a snap or a hold issue.
Well, it'll be 1st and 10 now for Temple. About a minute and a half to go here in this first half. And they will start it at their own 20. Out of the pistol, Basinger. Quick throw, firing to the outside, and they'll step out of bounds.
Well, Temple was making sure they were going to save some time on the clock regardless of what the Maroons did on that last offensive drive. I don't think that play clock reset. Play clock did not reset.
Quick 2nd and 5. Basinger looking to throw again. Launches this one. Has a man coming open, and it is caught. And Hamilton just cannot catch up. Excuse me, Vondell Lewis just could not catch up with him.
I thought Basinger did a really, really good job of being patient. He didn't. Sometimes these young quarterbacks, they get to the top of their drop and they're ready to let that thing cut loose. But he waited maybe like a half second just to give his receiver one extra step to clear that defender, and really it was a nice throw, nice catch. Nothing difficult about it at all.
The extra point is up. It is good.
Temple, 28. Austin Hahn, 0.
So that'll make it 28-0. Temple again, they were looking to preserve as much time as they can on that clock, and they for sure they were going to take advantage of it. We've seen that this QB can push the ball downfield.
Yeah.
And
well,
2 plays.
You know, you look at it too from a Temple side of things. This now really works in their favor, right? You get the drive here at the end of the half to put up points. Then you turn around, you're going to get the ball to start the second half. Remember, the Maroons started on offense. They won the toss, chose to receive. And this one, an onside kick attempt. Flag comes in, and I believe the Maroons came up with.
Yeah, that'll be unsportsmanlike, unnecessary roughness.
Kind of a blindside hit.
Yeah.
And they're going to discuss it.
That's a painful interference.
Yeah.
But does go for 15, and the Maroons will start inside Temple territory. Minute 16 left. They've got enough time here. They just have got to move the ball downfield. They're going to have less than 45 yards to get into the end zone.
So you have 1st and 10 for the Maroons, 1:16 remaining here in the half. A timeout each for Temple and for the Maroons. Davenport leads his troops back under center. Single back set. Give. A little bit of a reverse. Here comes Vasquez. Coming off the edge. Jane Vasquez.
Well, that was well set up. They had the nice wall on the reverse. Got the Temple defense pinned to the inside, and it was just going to be a matter of how far Vasquez could get downfield, and he gets a very nice chunk of yardage to get a first down, and the 27 of Temple.
Well timed on the part of the Maroons. Able to get that edge, and Jane Vasquez filling in. Getting worked back into the starting lineup here after he missed the first couple weeks of the season. So Davenport out of the gun, snap. Another little quick toss here, a little misdirection. They fake it to DeLeon, pitch it to Brady Ford coming in, and he'll pick up 5, maybe 6 on first down. And they'll give him 6. It'll bring up 2nd and 4. Down inside a minute.
Yeah, Austin's got to get this thing going a little bit. They've only got 1 timeout left. I know they're at the 23, but this clock is rapidly ticking away. You're going to find yourself having only a couple more plays to run.
A little play fake, quick jump. Patrick Bird! Bird! Into the end zone!
Well, credit to Davenport. Again, he took another shot, but he hung in there tough and delivered the pass. It wasn't a thing of beauty, but it didn't need to be. The receiver was wide open. Catches it downfield, moves the last 10, 15 yards to get in the end zone. That's a big score by the Maroons. As you said, they took the ball to start the game.
Patrick Bird and Whit Davenport helping to show life. Bird doubles as the holder, and they'll add one more.
Big touchdown there. I like what Austin I did on that drive. I mean, for that, trying to sound defeatist, but if the other team's defense is sort of beating you to the direction where you've been going, run some misdirection at them, let them sort of run themselves out of the play, bring it back, and that was very effective. They did something. They did a little wrinkle on each of those 4 plays, and it was very successful. Got them in the end zone. So a little change up there by the Austin High offensive staff, and gets that goose egg off. They got shut out last week. Get the touchdown here.
Well, you mentioned getting shut out last week, but it also gets another item off their back, which is, and it's unfortunate to have to say this, but it's a fact of the reality. We all have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. First time this season the Maroons have been able to find the end zone. You get that monkey off the back now.
Yeah, good point.
If you're the Maroons. They'd been held to field goals the 2 weeks prior. The Maroons able to find the end zone here. A little bit of misdirection, a little creativity from the offense, but it works in a really beautiful, like you said, Davenport had to hang in there, but another one of those rollouts. They've shown it a few times tonight, but this time they hit it short into the flat, have Patrick Bird leak out behind, and wide open space in front of him, and Patrick Bird, give him credit, able to do the rest and punch that one in and get the Maroons on the board here with 24 ticks of the clock remaining here in the first half. And Peterson will drill this one. Fielded at the 1. Nelson trying to get outside.
Oh, ball came out.
Ball comes loose. Maroons
did the
fighting
Maroons
for
get
it.
it?
And
golly,
Temple will
Temple got
retain
it.
possession.
I'm not sure the Temple staff's going to be very happy with the kick returner there. Look, son, you got 15 seconds left. Just kneel the ball, but
I can't imagine either with 15 seconds. The Maroons showing some life.
yeah,
that you do anything other than kneel this here.
Yeah, just kneel it and go into halftime.
I mean, you're up 21. You're getting the ball back to start the second half. And if you're the Maroons, it almost feels like this could be the start. We got to see what the second half offers.
Sure.
But the start of a turning point and a tipping point here where the Maroons, confidence boosters, right? The small victories, you build off that.
Exactly.
Hey, look, guys, we got the monkey off our back. We found the end zone. Now if we can find it a couple more times, get a couple more stops, this game is still to be had against a quality Temple opponent. And for the Maroons, you have to think, if you're Austin High, you know, Coach Cecil, you need to instill in these guys the confidence that, look, forget the scoreboard. This is in reach.
Yeah. Get a stop early, get a score early in that second half, third quarter, and go from there. That's the first thing they got to do. But
clean up the pre-snap penalties.
Yeah,
I think is the biggest part of that to help your offense. Is, guys, we just got to stop, putting ourselves in these impossible predicaments. We're putting ourselves in these no-win situations.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, there's no Captain Kirk on the Austin High offense here. You can't pull the Kobayashi Maru or anything like that, okay? So that's not going to happen. The way we're going to do this is we just keep doing what we've been doing minus the penalties, right?
Yeah.
Running the football, being creative in the passing game, not trying to do too much, moving Davenport. I think that's been the biggest change as part of this is, look, if we can't stand in the pocket, let's move the pocket for Davenport.
Get some misdirection going the other way, and bring him back,
Just get him kind of on the move. Get him away from being a sitting duck back there behind this offensive line. Let's move the pocket, move him, and get him flowing to one side. That does two things, too, by the way. Not only are you helping Davenport in that sense from a protection standpoint, you're also condensing the field now to one half. He's having to think less and read less. And the one thing that Coach Cecil talked about at the start of the season and early on was, hey, look, we want to be in a spot where our guys are playing fast. We don't want them to have to think. We want to be able to play fast, play hard. Well, to do that, you have to stop thinking. Well, to do that from the quarterback spot, let's condense the field. Let's cut the field in half, condense the field, and make the reads a little bit easier. It gets a lot easier when you're only flowing to one side.
One side, you got two options as opposed to three or four.
Exactly. So it's all coming together, I think, a little bit here, and we'll see what the Maroons can do as we go into this second half. Real quick, we'll give you a couple score updates from around the area. At half right now, Cedar Ridge and Westwood. Cedar Ridge up 20-10 over Westwood. Bastrop at half up 36 against Crockett. Crockett with a score of 3. They've put a field goal on the board. Hutto and Manor, they're at the half. Hutto shutting out Manor right now, 42-0. Fulshire and Burleson Centennial. Fulshire up 21-7 over Burleson Centennial. Northwest and Eaton tied at 24 at the half. And Round Rock is up 24-3 against McNeil. So some stats around the area, some other games going on. We'll get our ticker updated here at the half as well and get you set for the second half action. Meanwhile, the pride of the Wildcats, they'll take the field, and we'll take a quick break here on the Vibe Live Network, brought to you, of course, by our MVP sponsors. And, of course, we've talked about Torchy's Tacos, the meal sponsor tonight for the Maroons, and one of our sponsors, therefore, as well. We want to give them some love as well. That'll do it here for this first half. We'll step aside, let you get to the marching bands, and have a little bit of fun. We'll be back in about 25 minutes for this third quarter of play here on the Vibe Live Network.
Jocelyn Vasquez Rivera and President Bella Jenkins. Please enjoy this darling field ladder performance by the Varsity Kittens to the Jackson 5 Classic, I Want You Back. And now, the Temple Independent School District is proud to present the Temple High School Wildcat Band. The band is under the field direction of drum majors Mallory Gerald, Dianexis Maldonado Ortiz, and Marissa Rustkowski. The Wildcat Band and their official sponsor, In-House Systems, is proud to present its Fall 2025 marching production, Mercury Rising. This year, we are celebrating all things Mercury. We start with the music of Gustav Holst's Mercury from The Planets. We also represent the element of Mercury with Gooey by the Glass Animals. Tonight, we finish with Freddie Mercury of Queen with the wonderful ballad, Who Wants to Live Forever? Be sure to stay tuned to our weekly halftime show as we add still more versions of Mercury. much of this evening. It's been our pleasure performing for you. Color Guard Student of the Week is Aubrey Book. Section of the Week are the trombones. Directors of the Wildcat Band are Brent Matheson, Marcus Duran, and Peter Milliken. Color Guard is under the direction of Lacey Garcia. Fine Arts Coordinator is Shirley Johnston Bukeen, and Director of Fine Arts for Temple ISD is Katrina Lotspeech. Have a safe and restful weekend. Good evening, and go Wildcats!
Now, for your halftime enjoyment of the award-winning Austin High Red Jackets. The Red Jackets are under the direction of Stephanie Braden Wright and Alyssa LeBron. They're led on the field by Senior Lieutenant Jetty Collins and Junior Lieutenants Kaylee Bear and Callie Corliss. President is Scarlett Alanis Hernandez. Vice President is Ellie Butterworth. Social officers are Ellie Schock and Catherine Thompson. Spirit Girl of the Week is Callie Corliss. And the Red Jacket of the Week is Chloe Paris. Tonight, the Red Jackets will be performing a palm routine to Cold Hearted by Paula Abdul. Ladies and gentlemen, your Austin High Red Jackets. Sebastian Blanco, Elliot Pozos, Lee Worsham, and Avi Lee. Our section of the week is the Color Guard. Our marcher of the week is Isabella Garlow from the clarinet section. Tonight we will perform the first three movements of our UL show entitled Under Pressure, featuring music by Queen, David Bowie, Carl Jenkins, the Rolling Stones, Shirley Bassey, and Rihanna. Our featured soloists this evening are Juan Murcia Monterroso on trombone, Lee Worsham on soprano sax, Alejandro Ortega on alto, Maddox Menzie on tenor, Ryan Martinez on bari, and tuba duet featuring Thomas Bryant and Nick Token. We'd like to take a moment to wish the Temple Band good luck in the UL season and thank all our many parent volunteers, especially those who help in the ring crew every week. We could not perform without your support. The band boosters like to thank our sponsor, Daymaker Half Day Cafe, keeping the room band cool all season long. Ladies and gentlemen, the Austin High Band.
Maroons. And the kick's away.
And welcome back as we get started here into this third quarter of play.
Nice kick coverage there by the Maroons, and they got Temple buried inside the 20, close to the rear, just outside the 15. So nice start for the Maroons. Good energy on that kick coverage. We talked about them going into halftime, a little bit of kind of at least some pep in their step. Got that first touchdown, got the lead 28-7. Almost created that turnover deep on the last kickoff of the half. So they've got an opportunity here to set the tone early in this third quarter, try to get a stop, get the offense back out on the field. An offense that, at least on that last drive, finally had some things working.
Quick throw here, or quick give rather, excuse me, to this near side. And they'll give him about 5 yards on first down. So Killen Basinger, this Temple offense, trying to pick up right where they left off, as they'll do it again. And this will be enough for the first down.
Temple very much in a hurry up.
Not wanting to waste any time. They go right back to it again. This time the Maroon defense stands tall, bottles them up on first down. Forward progress will maybe get him a yard, if that, more like a half of a yard.
Yeah.
But officially it would be, 2nd and 9. So they will actually get him to the 30. Temple, handoff here again. Trying to work outside, Clifton. Spinning through.
Well, they had the edge set, but they couldn't make that first tackle, and running back ended up getting 9 yards, get the first down.
Yeah.
So Temple on the move quickly here. They've already moved out to the 40 of their own in their own territory after starting at their own 15 or 16-yard line, I should say.
I want to tell them to slow it down because we have graphics to show the starting defensive lineup, but they've kind of moved so fast. That's not, I haven't really had much of a chance to show that.
Yeah,
they'll give it a first down here again and move the sticks.
They are on the go right here. They are quickly getting to the line of scrimmage, getting the play called. Austin High trying to run players on the field. Oh, goodness. We got caught way out of position.
Trying to get outside. Alderson can't get off the block. And that'll be a touchdown for Temple.
Well, less than 2 minutes. Temple rolls down, nothing in the air, all 85 yards on the ground, the last of which was about a 50-yard touchdown run. Austin High trying to run a defender on late. I knew that they were a shorter person. They ran 2 off and only 1 on initially. And, almost really like at some point, call a timeout.
Yeah.
because he was poorly out of position where the defender was running on. They ran to the completely opposite side. So not the start that the Maroons were hoping for or working towards.
Extra point is good.
Ethan Rooney's kick is good. Tempo 35. Austin High.
So now we get to set this back up now. So a little over 10 minutes remaining here in this third quarter. Temple, like you said, just drives right down the field, all on the ground. Only a handful of plays, 5 plays if that, to get them down the field into the end zone. And the last one being, like you said, a long 50-plus yard scamper. And all of it, not even that they shifted out running backs. I mean, it all came on the ground by way of tailback Eric Shelley.
I didn't look at the totality of that substitution. I saw Coach Cecil talking to one of the officials. I have no idea if this was the topic they were discussing, but it would make sense given it happened on the very last play. I don't know. Perhaps Austin High thought they should have been able to get that sub in.
Yeah.
But if Temple sub, now I understand Temple was running an up-tempo offense, but if they sub,
you have to allow your defense
it. And again,
to sub.
I didn't see if Temple subbed on that play, but I'm just kind of reading body language and why would Coach Cecil be down there 50 yards talking to the official immediately after that play. I'm guessing he was trying to argue that point that, hey, we should have been allowed to substitute.
Kick is up. It's another pooch kick. Flag is thrown. That'll be an offsides call.
So I'm sure Austin High would just take this, add 5 yards, and start outside their own 40. Good field position. So I suspect that was the conversation. I wish I'd paid a little bit closer attention to the substituting that was going on. I just saw Austin High.
Well, they were
trying to run
moving so fast.
Yeah, they were moving very fast.
Yes. That substitution, anyways.
Temple did not look in any way, shape, or form like they were regularly subbing. I mean, they were running, handing the ball off, tackle, set the ball, boom, they were going. So.
So they conferred with Coach Cecil. And this flag, I mean, that was back thrown very quickly after the kick. And they will walk this off. And the Maroons will start as a result at their own 41-yard line with 1st and 10 to go. And we'll get sent back under center, I formation, snap, give, De Leon has to jump over one of his own, and Caleb De Leon pushing ahead. He'll pick up about 6 on 1st down, and that'll bring up a manageable 2nd and 4.
Austin High coming out really in a straightforward formation look. Power I, 2 tight ends. Only 1 wide out.
2nd and 5 for the Maroons.
Actually
and
gave
a fullback.
him a 5-yard gain. Now, Owen Watley, that fullback, he's got to carry on tonight. And they'll go right back to De Leon. De Leon spinning, able to pick up about 2, and that's where his forward progress will give him. As a result, it'll be 3rd and 3 for the Maroon offense.
Up 3rd down and 3 for the Maroons.
So off comes Davis Deering, in comes Brady Ford. So they swap out a tight end for another wide receiver.
Big early 3rd down here. Try to keep this offense on the field, 3rd and 3.
Temple stacking the box. Single back set, play fake. De Leon rolling to the right. Pass incomplete, too far behind Mac Diamond for him to make a play on it, and that'll bring up 4th and 3. And now all eyes turn to Coach Cecil, and he doesn't hesitate, sends out the punt unit.
I don't know if Davenport expected his tight end to just kind of sit right there. He had him open, but the receiver kind of ran into the defender, and Davenport threw the pass behind him.
I think it was a result of he wanted him to sit, and like you said, I think Davenport was hoping he would settle in.
Yeah, because he was there.
Right
He had
there. Yeah,
He had the
exactly.
room. He had a nice big bubble to just kind of sit down and give an easy target for the first down. It's kind of a underappreciated trait for receivers and tight ends, just kind of knowing where to sit. And there's
Nelson
a fumble on the
dropped
play.
in.
Oh, wow, he got it. Okay.
Peterson was lucky to get the punt away. And then Rodney Nelson bobbled it, ultimately dropped it, and yet he was able to fall on top of it, but it is back inside the Temple 15-yard line. Ball spotted right at the 14. And that is where Kylan Basinger and the Wildcat offense will return to play. Jason Martinez lined up at corner, opposite of Alec Alderson, trying to get a little extra speed out there. And Martinez, very speedy as a receiver.
And he's giving them quite a cushion. He's got no safety help on that side.
Quick throw on a wide receiver screen. Able to slip one, slip two. Finally forced out of bounds, trying to tiptoe his way, Preston Thomas.
Wow, they're going to give him all of 6 yards on that play. That looked like it should have gone perhaps for a loss of a yard or two, but receiver, very nice job making the catch, making one guy miss, and quickly getting upfield, getting 6 yards. Almost 7.
Basinger making some changes. At the line. He'll settle, snap. Give here, Shelley slips one, and Von Kotzer able to finally catch up with him. But that is enough for a big first down for Temple.
Again, quickly lining up.
They'll go again. Long throw down the side, Alderson in coverage. Airtight. Alec Alderson working against Preston Thomas.
Ball needed a little bit more trajectory on it. A little bit underthrown, but
Alex
really,
Alderson does a great job. Like
yeah,
you
he
said,
does.
He's
He's there.
Underthrown, but Alderson played that pretty cleanly.
Very well. Didn't panic. Didn't get the PI.
I saw the official grab at his flag
Yeah,
like he considered it.
Oh, come on. Come on.
But ultimately, the flag stayed in the pocket.
Don't bail him out.
And now here comes Temple out of the gun. Shelley around in the backfield. They'll give it to him. And bottlenecked. Taylor finally drags him back. And that'll go for a loss of 3 and bring up a long third down, one of the few moments tonight where Temple has found themselves behind the sticks.
Yeah, yeah.
John Burns, Jackson Taylor helped to blow it up. Got in there quick and in a hurry. Off that right side of the Temple offense. Basinger out of the gun, time to the right. Split the wide receiver out, and whistles blow as Temple will take an early timeout. Usually that's the result of they either saw something from the Maroon defense they didn't like, or they didn't like the way their offense was getting set up, one of the two. And so timeout taken, they will adjust and resettle in. 35-7 lead here for Temple. 7:33 to go here in this third quarter. Big third down for the Maroons. Austin High needing a stop here to force a long fourth down. Here's Basinger out of the gun. Tight end to the left, too wide to the right. He'll make an adjustment here. Ramon Brown will shift now. He was a single receiver to the left. He'll shift now to the right and set up a trips look. And the tight end will drop onto the line. Snap. Play fake. Basinger pumps. Sails this one, and it is caught! Touchdown, Temple!
Number 12, Ramon Brown.
Well, they just ran the receiver down the seam, slot receiver down the seam, and really good pass by Basinger.
Well, the shift, I think, is what was more
Yeah.
important. He was originally matched up against Martinez, one of the speedier players on this Austin High defense and on this team as a whole. Normally, as we saw last season, he's a wide receiver capable of some big plays down the field. As this one, it was muffed on the hold. So there will be no extra points scored.
41, Austin High, 7.
And Temple will score 41-7. And that's what it'll remain. Couldn't get a handle on the hold. And nearly a big play opportunity for Austin High. And a little crisis averted for Temple.
Well, tough start to this second half. Austin High hoping to come out and maybe draw first blood this second half, but Temple instead scores the first 13.
Well, and to touch on the point, you talk about it, you know, that really it's that shift, right? We talk about Martinez having the explosive big playability on offense, has it a little bit on defense too. He's got that speed though, which is what makes him the better matchup. And so when you shift Ramon Brown over, you shift him away from that speed in Martinez, as Logan Davis with a really good return out to the 26-yard line. You get Ramon Brown off of Martinez, create the more favorable matchup. And unfortunately, against that kind of speed, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
You only have so many players that fast who can keep up.
Yeah.
Admirable effort by Hyder Horton to try and keep up with Brown. But once Brown had a half step, and a good job by Basinger, the little shoulder shrug to freeze Horton on it.
Yeah, little play action, and he really's been able to throw from a fairly clean pocket all night. Particularly on most of the deep throws that he's had. He's had clean looks.
Single back set, forward in motion, snap. And Caleb DeLeon gets dragged down for a loss of about 2. Officially, it's a loss of 3. Second and 13. Out comes Patrick Bird. And Davenport returns to the huddle. DeLeon, the single back. Snap. Fagan, another reverse. Here comes Logan Davis. And Davis gets back to the line of scrimmage, and not much else to be found for Logan Davis on the orbit reverse.
Offense moving backwards here.
Out of the gun, trips bunch to the right, single receiver to the left. Davenport looking, trying to set the screen. He's in trouble and has to sail this one into the maroon sideline. That'll stop the clock. and bring up a long 4th down for Austin High. It's like they were trying to set up the screen. I don't know if it was intended for Caleb DeLeon or not, but it's almost like DeLeon got caught in the wash trying to slip out. So it looked like he got tripped and slid. Not much you can do for it. Not sure if it was meant to go downfield, and Davenport just has to sail it into the Maroon sideline, and not much more he can do. Beyond that, snap, Peterson pops this one, and that is caught. There is a flag, though.
That's interesting. It was at the spot of the punt return. It was thrown rather early. There was no delay of game.
I mean, that got thrown before the punt was even in the air. They're discussing it with Coach Cecil.
Illegal substitution. Okay.
Last 12 on the field. 5-yard cover be tagged at the end of the kick.
That'll push Temple back 5 yards. Okay.
So it'll still be Temple ball.
I see a gentleman in the stands wearing a old school SC Trojans Marcus Allen jersey. I don't believe it's Marcus Allen. Didn't have that on my bingo card of things I would see at Austin High game, but
well, when you get you're at the home of the Maroons, Burgundy, I guess.
I guess I get maybe he was invited and didn't have anything necessarily that was maroon, but he went with the burgundy.
Yeah. It'll be 1st and 10 now for Temple with the penalty. They will start backed up at their own 44-yard line.
I thought that's where the ball was fielded. They didn't mark anything off.
There we go.
All right. Well, they're
switching out the ball.
Yeah. What is?
So I guess they were going to play with the kicking ball initially.
I don't know what happened.
That they reset the play clock.
I know, but they didn't mark off the 5 yards. Also.
Well, now they're looking to the sideline. Basinger and company. There's a lot going on right now.
Wow, how do you not know that they didn't move the ball back?
And the snap here. Basinger fires. Pass caught. And Nelson pulled down. Gain of about 9, and that'll be 2nd and a yard.
Taken down by number 21, Vince Geyer. Taken down Wildcats.
Temple going up tempo. Basinger, screen, flag thrown. And that was thrown pretty quickly, usually in the vicinity of somebody not quite being lined up where they're supposed to be.
I think that's going to be an illegal formation or shift or something.
Illegal formation. Temple with 5 in the backfield. 5-yard penalty.
So that's exactly what it's going to be. So it's going to stay 2nd down, but too many men in the backfield. It's going to back them up 5, and that will make 2nd and 1 turn into 2nd and 6. And they will try it again. John Burns, by the way, had that screen on Nelson read perfectly. He just whiffed.
Yeah.
But he had him dead to rights as Basinger and company set up shop. Initially in the pistol, now to the gun to give. And Taylor, Holden Taylor held him down, and that allowed Kotzer and Ethan Kale to close ground. 3rd and 9. And this Maroon defense comes through again. Can they do it on 3rd down?
I mean, to be critical, it looks like the right tackle almost looks like he's lined up in an H-back position. I'm not saying he's pushing the boundary of being on the line of scrimmage, but he's definitely pushing the boundary of not being on the line of scrimmage.
Bassinger in trouble. Down he goes. Jackson Taylor came through and buried him.
Nice job there by Taylor.
That was Holden Taylor.
Holden Taylor.
Look, they made the decision to wear 8 and 0,
and they look
and
alike.
they're brothers, so I'm going to get the 2 flipped.
Yeah, that 8 and 0 can look a lot alike when you get jerseys out there that are, pulled up or whatever.
They get a little bunched up there around the middle, and it just makes it a little difficult to see it all clearly. Punt is away, and this is a short punt into the Temple sideline.
Hey, you got to cut the punter some slack. He's probably pretty cold at this point. He hadn't been used very much by first punt of the night, I believe.
It is for Temple side of things. That is correct. It's kind of like on the, I don't know if you saw it, press conference this week. Oregon, of course, had their big win over the weekend, and at one point, the conversation about punting, Dan Lanning made the joke. He said, well, I was worried if we didn't use him, he was going to transfer. Almost kind of a similar situation here. That worried if we didn't punt him, he was going to, open and roll, transfer out somewhere.
That was a game against Oregon State, correct? Or was
that's correct,
okay.
yeah. Of course, obviously, there's no transfer portal officially at, at the high school level, of course.
But it was a good joke.
It was a fun joke, it was kind of, a little bit to it. Of course, the conversation, with UIL running the show and everything, of course, NIL having the prominence that it does today, I, quietly wondered as Davenport just gets flushed and brought down very quickly there, and it'll be a loss of 4. Bring up 2nd and 14. Davenport trying to weave his way through traffic and survive back there. But, I've quietly wondered in this day of NIL with these kids getting paid coming into college, how long might it be with the growing rate of the sport as a whole? Does that trickle down to the high school level?
Yeah.
And, it's not – I don't think it's anything that's on the near horizon. I, at one point, said 5 to 10 years. I think it's maybe probably closer to 15, 20 maybe.
I'm not quite sure it's that far off.
And it's just kind of one of those things that you just kind of wonder. Brady Ford couldn't pull it in. Long throw from Davenport, one of the rare times tonight he's had a clean pocket to operate in, and had Brady Ford just could not haul it in. And I'll give credit to the officials, consistent. I mean, there's been some where Alex Halverson, I thought maybe got away with some.
Yeah.
I think maybe Temple gets away with one there, but at least consistent.
Yeah, consistent,
Keeping the flag in the pocket.
I don't think the PI occurred really at the final play on the ball. It looked like it happened
maybe
right before, like when he was beginning to climb up. But flag gets held. And like I said, it's been consistent, so.
Davenport in trouble. He's going to take it a run. Here comes Whit Davenport, and he will scamper out of bounds right at about the line of scrimmage originally, where this drive began, at about the 45-yard line. They'll say he gets across that to the 46. So it'll bring up 4th and 9. And Austin High will have to send out the punt unit with a little over 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Snap, Peterson boots this one high, turning kick, and that'll take an Austin High bounce. And I say that not in the sense that it's favorable to Austin High, but it literally bounced into Austin High.
Yeah.
I mean, it bounced straight back, and I think Taylor caught it in the face mask by the time it was all said and done. So 1st and 10 for Temple from their own 31, 2:02 remaining, 41-7 score. And to give here Outside and to the right. Picks up 5.
Now Temple's got 2 touchdowns this half, one strictly on the ground. The other one came really on a series where they were throwing the ball. So see where they go with this drive. Start off on the ground. You got to know that Maroon defense getting pretty gassed out there. Late third quarter, they've been on the field a long time.
Basinger, the give. And he'll get enough for the first down. Comes to a stop right at the sticks.
Kind of got to think at this point, I mean, as soon as I say something, Temple's probably going to drop back and throw a 60-yard bomb. But, you know, you're running towards the latter part of the third quarter. It's almost times less than a minute of the third quarter. You got a 41-7 lead. You know, try to get this game into the barn as
play fake, quick
quickly as
throw
possible.
out to the right side. Alex Alderson lined up, working against Preston Thomas. Been the big matchup here tonight.
Short pass.
Picks up the first down, though. Caught it about a couple of yards short, able to turn upfield. They started that clock back up, too, even though he stepped out of bounds. So you got a running clock, 1st and 10. Colin Basinger does need to get the play off, make no mistake. He'll look to the side, gets an adjustment here. 3 wide. Give. Shelley. Out to the right. Breaks 2 tackles. Dragged down again, this time by Ethan Kale.
Pretty powerful run there. Very powerful, actually.
Yep. Kale and Alderson worked against him, and I think they're going to let this go.
Yeah, looks like it's going to go in the fourth quarter.
So ahead into the fourth quarter, Maroons trail 41-7 as we head into that fourth quarter of play. 1st and 10 for Temple when we come back here on the Vibe Live Network. Welcome back in. We'll pay a couple more bills here real quick. It's brought to you, of course, as we talk about up here, Torchy's. We'll have Torchy's up here in this booth. I love a good Torchy's taco. The Trashy Trailer Park, I think, is my go-to when I go to Torchy's. Of course, we always got to stop, get queso, and then, of course, our championship-level sponsors for the Maroons. West Austin Corsairs, Austin Infinity, and Lee's Meat Market. As we get you set started here, fourth quarter, 1st and 10. Ball spotted here at about the 25-yard line. Basinger. Give here, Shelley. Shelley bouncing around. Excuse me, that is not Shelley. That is Jaselyn Wheelock. Vince Geyer made the stop, brings up 2nd and about 1. Geyer stopped him a yard short. Wheelock, the tailback. And the Maroons will run one out. Fourth had a hand to his shoulder. Yeah, and he gets swapped out for. So it could be an equipment malfunction. So, you know, you're holding your shoulder like that, could be something you're trying to hold a pad down underneath.
Yeah, no, this one looks...
and flags come flying in here.
I don't want to speculate any, but it doesn't look like it's an equipment malfunction.
No, you don't think so. But, of course, the other alternative usually is we called it a stinger. when we played it in high
Yeah.
school. That
Yeah.
you got to hit and it jarred a nerve, and now you're just trying to wait for the sensation to go away. As this will march Temple back, false start. And they'll bring up 2nd and 6. Get the clock rolling again. Basinger, they give to Wheelock. Wheelock bouncing it outside. Finally wrestled and brought down. Rio Mason Murphy, the one in for Hardison Board, in on the tackle, chasing him down with one of the Taylor brothers and John Burns. It's 3rd and 3. Colin Basinger looks to the sideline. Snap, play fake. Basinger, pass up top. Touchdown.
Well, he beats double coverage on a post. Did a really nice job of going up to get the ball.
Rodney Nelson high pointed it, and he had to hang in the air
Yeah.
for a minute. That allowed the Maroons to close in 2-to-1 ratio of Maroons to Wildcats on that play in the back of the end zone, and the lone Wildcat came down with it, got a foot down, and put 6 more on the board for Temple. Snap, hold, extra point. It is through, it is good. And so Temple takes a 48-7 lead over the Maroons. Give everyone at home a quick score update. Bastrop up 50-3 over Crockett in the 3rd quarter. Cedar Ridge up 27-17 into the 4th over Westwood. And Hutto did close out their game against Manor 56-7. The final score in that one, 48-7, your score here.
At the risk of being snarky, I'm going to say that there's a big chasm between Maynard's indoor football facility that they have and the quality of the football team. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Something to be said to that. Of course, still in your out-of-district schedule, so we'll see what they look like when they get into district play. Well, as the lights come down, the beautiful Austin skyline here around us. It's one of the nice things, I think, despite some of the logistical hurdles that we've had with a renovation across the way on the away side with the press box there, the fact that House Park is being renovated, because this is it's still such a fantastic location to host these kinds of events. As this kick fielded inside the 10. Big return and a bigger hit on Jaden Vasquez as he is brought down across the 30. They'll mark him at the 33.
Maroons taking the field here on offense.
34-yard line.
Trailing 48-7, 10 minutes left in this 4th quarter. I was thrown off by, I'm going to digress here, I was thrown off by that USC number 33 jersey from Marcus Allen. I'll explain here in a minute after this play.
1st and 10. I formation, Davenport under center. Ball came out, not a clean exchange.
Looks like Austin High will recover it.
On the recovery.
So I was thrown off because when I think of USC running backs, the great ones, I think at number 32, but I forgot Marcus Allen actually was a fullback.
Yeah.
While Charles White was wrapping up his career, which ended in a Heisman Trophy.
Trying to get a good look here at the offensive line arrangement. And it is not Caden Luke who is back at center for Austin High. I'm actually having to dig to the roster here. And he is not on our current roster either, from what I can see. You have a 74 on yours? Because I do not have a 74 on mine for the Maroons.
Doesn't look like I've got one.
Whoever he is.
He's 74.
He is at center. I mean, he's just not on our roster sheet that we were provided. I don't have him on our spotter chart. I mean, and we checked. Scott asked before the game. He said, "You need a roster?" I said, "Well, no, I still have last week's, as long as it hasn't changed."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, it's still the same as last week's." All right, cool. Well, something changed, and none of us knew about it, I suppose. 4th down and 11 coming up here for the Maroons. And this punt is away. Really good Austin High punt this time here from Peterson. It takes a friendly bounce. You know, the bounce, I'm not so sure how much control James Peterson has on that.
Yeah.
But in terms of favorability, that one by far the most favorable they've had in a minute.
Yeah.
Of course, you got Major League Baseball still winding down. Of course, of note for everybody at home, Houston Astros trying to hold on to their first place lead in the AL West. And they just lost earlier tonight to the Seattle Mariners, 4-0. As Wheelock. His wheels are not locked.
No, his wheels are not locked, no.
He is blazing, picked up about 12. Keeps this drive rolling here for Temple. And Kylan Basinger and company, they'll take their time with this. Snap, Basinger, give, Wheelock. Slips out of one, but Holden Taylor did his part to trip Wheelock up and help to slow him up, trip him up, and allow the rest of the Maroon defense to get home. And out comes Taylor as a result. In came Haynes Morrison to take his place. Snap, give, Shelley gets away from one, not two. Ryder Moody was tracking him down.
Taking down by number 28, Ethan Kale. That play brings up 3rd and 10 for the ball count.
So it does bring up 3rd down, 10 to go for Basinger and the Temple offense. Shelley in the backfield, offset to Basinger's right. Snap, Basinger to throw. Launching this one. A little hand finding, pass incomplete, no flags to be found. And that'll stop the clock, 4th and 10. really good coverage by this Maroon defense. Horton will check in here for Clifton. And Henry Clifton will come out. He's got the sleeve on, part of the signal callers on this Maroon defense. As Martinez will line up back deep to return. Snap. Punt is away. This one a high spiraling punt. Takes a Maroon bounce again this time. And it'll bounce out of bounds. Back at right about the 40. They're going to spot this, it looks like, at the 47.
Yeah. Just
might be a little generous of a spot.
Yeah,
I thought.
a little bit. Yeah,
I think it quite bounced that far back. I'm thinking maybe more like the 44. So
I'll take every yard we can get.
It's a net of about 2, I guess, if you're going to go by that logic of it being a favorable spot. And so brings up 1st and 10. Here come the Maroons on offense. Just a little over 5.5 minutes here to play in the half. And a give. Owen Watley spins his way forward for a gain of about 8. Second and 2, high formation. Watley is the deep back. 2 receivers to the left, snap, give. Watley met at the point of attack and then wrestled down. They'll say he gets back to the line of scrimmage on forward progress. Brings up 3rd down. Maybe lost a couple of inches, if that. But for all intents and purposes, still 3rd and 2.
Still 3rd and 2.
So we hit this 4.5 minute mark in this one. High formation, tying to the left. I'll give it again to Watley. Watley picks his way forward. And he'll pick up the 1st down for the Maroons. And so Austin High keeps this drive moving down inside 4 minutes. They're now down to the Temple 42-yard line. So you just kind of want another touchdown here, something to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
Get you a little bit of confidence going into Del Valley next week, which should be a fantastic game.
Yeah, yeah.
High formation. That fullback really close. And a little play action rollout off the hands of Davis Deering. Brings up 2nd and 10. Deering, the backup tight end, to Mac Diamond, and had it just off his fingertips, and not much Davis Deering could do about that one. He's lined up to the right. Patrick Bird is the H-back behind him. 2 wide to the left are Vasquez and Hoopman. Davenport, quick fire. Enzo Hoopman with a grab. Hoopman finding forward, pushed out of bounds. Flag is thrown right at about where he was driven out of bounds. And so it's a face mask.
Yeah, you can kind of see the defender got, when his head was down, his defender kind of got up and got a hold of the face mask.
Would have been a 1st down either way, but this will go against temple, and it will put the Maroons within striking distance. Davenport will come into the gun. Watley, the tailback, to his right. 2 tight ends to the right are Deering and Bird. Vasquez and Hoopman, the 2 to the left, are the receivers. Quick throw again to Hoopman. Hoopman steps out of bounds. Pick up of about 7, brings up 2nd and 3. Davis under center. Snap. Little jet sweep for Vasquez. James Vasquez cuts it inside. Spun down inside the 5.
Down to the 2-yard line to be first and goal. Nice bit of running there. I thought he had a hole earlier to cut it up, but he bounced it once and then got upfield. Getting it inside the 5, the 3, and then the 2.
We near the 2-minute warning. We'll see if Davenport and the offense will run this play or not. They'll come out in the eye. Bird, the fullback. And they will not get the play off. So we hit the 2-minute warning in this one. First and goal for the Maroons. Knocking on the door.
Next week, the Maroons travel to Del Valley. Take on the Cardinals on Friday, September 26th at 7:30 p.m. We hope to see you there as we begin district play.
Well, they brought it up, so we'll put it up on the screen here for you as part of it. Talk about
I want to say the heartfelt thank you to our MVP business sponsors. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll get up here for you in a second. As the Maroons try and punch this one in.
Number 14, Caleb DeLeon on the carry.
Didn't quite get it in, so 2nd and goal. We'll come back to the schedule in just a moment. Little Maryland eye, and they give it to Michael Friday. Touchdown, Austin High. Give it to the big man.
Well, you know he loves that.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, who wouldn't?
The only thing that trumps a handoff to one of the defensive linemen is if you can get him in and you throw a touchdown pass to the defensive lineman.
That's right. That's right.
Well, the Maroons, you talk about a confidence booster, talk about something to hang your hat on. Coming in tonight, had yet to score a touchdown. They find the end zone twice tonight. High snap. Well done by Patrick Bird to get the hold down.
Indeed.
And James Peterson tacks one on.
That was quite a job.
Oh, yeah.
Getting up for that snap, a very high snap, and getting it down quick on the point. And not lose your hand as Peterson.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we promise you the schedule. We'll pull that up for you here real quick right now as you take a look. Of course, Temple Austin. Austin, obviously, after tonight, will fall to 0-4 on the season. Temple will improve to 4-0. But you look at the schedule, the slate ahead of you, it doesn't get much easier if you are the Maroons. So you have Del Valley on the road next week. Then you're going to come back home for a one-game stretch. You'll host Dripping Springs, who just knocked out Buda Johnson last week night, 52-0. That same Buda Johnson who came in here and shut you out.
Well, let's not forget Dripping Springs beat the defending state champs.
That's true, too.
And Vandergrift by 4 touchdowns.
So you have that coming into your house in 2 weeks. Then you're going to go on the road to Westlake. And then you come home, you'll host Aikens here at House Park. Then you get the bye week, so you get to catch a breather there a little bit. Then you're the road team against Bowie, and then you end the season at home against Lake Travis. So it doesn't get easier, but within that schedule, we talk about making sure you have a seat when the dance is over.
Yeah.
Aikens, Bowie, Del Valley.
Del Valley, you got to win those
are the
three.
games you're going to have to win if you want a playoff spot.
It's as simple as that.
And that's what it's going to boil down to.
When you look at it, teams look at schedules like, it's a bit more of a favorable home schedule. You got tougher teams here. From the perspective of an announcer, it's sort of an unfavorable schedule because we get the great press box schools coming into House Park. We got out to Dripping Springs last year. They're frying up catfish. They're slinging, freshly grilled burgers outside.
Oh,
like, man, did I show up at the right place? Temple last year.
Yeah, they had a really beautiful press box over
nice
there.
Nice press box, plenty of food. Vandergrift, of course, the playoff game, they had food. Kelly Reeves, they had pizza. I feel like the pizza, though, was 3 days old by the time we got there. I don't mean to get all gastronomic on people, but I'm just saying, from the standpoint of comfort, not being able to go to Dripping Springs is a little disappointing.
Disappointing. You get to go to Westlake,
we
though.
do get to go to Westlake, so I'm expecting a lot. I don't want to be disappointed.
So a high bar has been set by those who have come before them. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Okay.
If I go to Westlake and they're serving old cold pizza, I'm going to be immensely disappointed. So next week, big game against. I will have to miss next week's game.
That's right.
I'll be out, but we talked about it. Let's just throw it out there. It's a must-win. It is a must-win for the Maroons if they're looking to try to repeat a playoff berth.
The hardest part, I think, about the schedule, you talk about schedule to unfavorable schedules. Temple will walk this off. It's not even. There's two parts of the schedule that we talk about that don't work in Austin High's favor. One is you have a really late bye week.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to go through the stretch of your season, and then you get a bye week with 2 games left on the schedule.
Yeah.
It's, in terms of timing, that doesn't really work to your advantage because you don't get a chance, A, for guys to heal and rest up, but B, it's a lot harder to make any kind of real-time adjustments or anything to scheme or line up in terms of being able to get reps because you don't get the extra week of prep time for that going into that. So you're having to do a little bit more on the fly, which is a little bit harder on players. The other part of it is you had like an extra bye week last year because there was that week-long break in between non-district and district play. You don't have that this year now. It's go all the way on from tonight on through the rest of the season. So there's going to be some challenges here for Austin High. Now, all that said, we put the schedule together. You look at everything. Things to keep in mind. offense much improved tonight, I would say considerably over what we've seen the last few weeks. Things are starting to click. That's what that means. The schedule, the scheme, the new offensive scheme that they've been picking up, they're finally getting the handle on that. Everybody's starting to gel. Things are starting to come together. That's all that means. It's what we've been telling you. It's just some of the miscommunication, some of those things like that. New scheme, new guys calling the plays into the headset a little bit. Everybody just trying to get onto the same page. Takes a few weeks for that to gel. That's what non-district's for. We're seeing that starting to gel, I think, at about the right time.
And I think it's worth mentioning it. Not, we talked about Childers being out, but also Jablon was out this game, so I don't know the reason. I can't speak to the specifics as to why, but those are two big offensive leaders that you have relative to the rest of the team. I mean, those are guys that the ball is in their hands a lot.
Yeah.
So, and they still manage, I guess, technically their best offensive night of the season. So. Hopefully they're back next week against Del Valle again. We can't speak to the specific. I don't know. I don't know what the situation was, but so factoring that, you hope to even give that a little bit some tailwinds.
And it's not to take anything away from De Leon. De Leon looked
sure.
really good running the ball.
Doubt.
Watley did too.
No doubt.
I think if you can have another guy in there that adds a different element.
Exactly. You want all your guys there.
Yeah. Childers is a different back from De Leon and from Watley. I mean, he's got power, but he's got that speed to go with it. He's almost like a nice kind of mesh between the two. And I think Childers also maybe offers you a little bit something more as a pass catcher, just a little bit compared to the other two. So, I mean, you kind of factor that all in. You'd like to be able to say, hey, we've got this really good three-headed monster in the backfield. You just kind of haven't been able to utilize them all at the same time. And so you had that part of it. Patrick Bird kind of stepping into his role right now, looking really good as well. You add in getting Jaden Vasquez back and getting him back into speed. Had some really explosive plays
he did.
Here tonight. So I think as you get all these pieces and you kind of start to put everything together, I think it's where we'll start to see next week. I think you start to see things put together. The defense is what the defense is. There's not much more to say about it. It's really good as long as you can get them some breaks and you can help them with the offense by giving them some long rests.
And using the analogy real quick, that you used in the pregame, and talk about like fighting your weight class. I mean, truth be told, we sort of have been a middleweight fighting some light heavyweights this early part of the year. So go to Del Valle, it'll be middleweight against middleweight.
You're coming back down, I would say, a little bit to your weight class, so to speak. And some of that familiarity. And so the level of competition, the level of talent, keep in mind, like, this is a very talented Temple team. We talked about at the onset, the collegiate prospects. You have that part of it going into it. You don't really have that with Del Valle and some of these other teams. I mean, so you're going to kind of even that out, and you even out that talents level a little bit more. And so I think you factor that all in together. I think next week just becomes, we've talked about it's a really pivotal game. But despite what you at home may be thinking, it's a very winnable game for this Austin High team
for sure,
as they continue to gel. Like we said, the one thing that I think, and I know Coach Cecil, being who Coach Cecil is and what he stems from, what he will harp on is the pre-snap penalties got to stop. I mean, we got to stop putting ourselves in these situations. Temple improves to 4-0. Maroons fall to 0-4, 48-14. The final score here tonight from House Park. We'll be back next week, minus Mr. Paul Longoria. He'll take a week off. He'll join us after that. We'll take the week, though. We'll be back next week as we go to Del Valle. That'll do it for us on behalf of our entire broadcast crew. Alita, our producer, Maisie, Shep, and Ian, our camera operators here tonight. My broadcast partner, Paul Longoria, our quality control assistant back home, Suna, Shane, and, of course, our director of broadcasting, Mr. Merle Bertrand. On behalf of all of them, we will say good night, and thank you for tuning in to this presentation of Maroon Football on the Vibe Live Network. We'll see you next Friday at Del Valle.